Hey, this is Mick from NOFNews.com. I'm going to show you some more advanced brush editing techniques today. So go ahead and get your marker out and go ahead and start moving it around the board to where you want to make an object. I'm going to make a square right here. I'm going to make it 64 units thick. Okay, here it is. Now keep it highlighted. Don't hit on mark. Don't hit your U key. I'm going to slice a corner off this. And what I'm going to do is move in here so I get a better look at it, and I'm going to use my space bar to click here in the corner, and I'm going to run it past or wherever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to run it past that corner and hit space bar again. Now I haven't created another brush right now. I'm going to hit the S key, which is called slicing. This will slice that corner off. I know you Unreal guys will love that because you carve out the world instead of build it. So there, I just carved out a piece of that object right here. So there, I just cut that corner off. Now I'm going to go ahead and click it and highlight that object or this brush again. Now I've showed you this one before. It's called the copy command. So go ahead and hit copy and use your marker to move around, and I want to create this brush somewhere else. I want to create it above it, almost like a shelf. So I move the marker above the object and clicked. And hit paste, which I use the shortcut command Control V. I'm going to pan out a little bit here so you can get a better look at it. There it is. Now let's say I want to move that object, or the brush. I'm sorry, I keep calling it an object, but I want to move that brush. I don't want it there. Now notice all these boxes here, and these arrows show up when I'm aiming at the box. Well, if you hold at the center one and hold your mouse button down and click, you can move it around. There, I just moved it back a little bit. If you look in the level, it just moved it aside. I can also do the same thing for the bottom by clicking it and highlighting the brush and moving it back. And I can move it around. Same thing with every window. If I want to make it longer, go ahead and click one of the side ones. That'll stretch it out, while keeping the texture in the same spot. It doesn't stretch the texture with it. This texture stays in that same zone. Alright, here's a fun one. Okay, you want this to be the other way. You don't like this exact position. You want to flip it. Let's say you want to turn it a little bit. So what we do is take your marker and try to get it right on the corner to where we want to rotate it. So we want this corner to rotate on this. So we want to get the marker right on that corner, right on that plane. And we look at it on the forward view. Now we right click in this window and we select Rotate Selection. And it has presets where I can rotate it 90 or 45 degrees if I want, or 180. I can turn it completely over. I want to turn it completely over. So here we go. I'm going to turn it 180. Just click OK. That's it. I just put my object completely 180 degrees around. See, there it is. Now you can't, if you click in this view, it will make a really weird rotation because you're rotating on the plane that you're looking at the object at. So if I click Rotate Selection and click 180, it's pretty nasty. Look at it on these other views. It rotated the heck out of it. Sometimes it comes in handy if that's exactly what you're looking for, but not me. You can easily undo this by clicking Edit and Undo. I'm going to move this brush back into its corner. Okay, I've gone to move both of those brushes into the corner because I'm going to show you another technique now. Go ahead and move your marker to another part of the level and create an object. I'm going to create another square. This will be a full square down to the floor, so 128 units because the marker is 128 units above the floor. I'm going to unmark so you can take a better look at it to where it's positioned. What we're going to do now is actually called geometry editing. So we're going to click it again and go ahead and change it over to geometry editing mode. Now, not just on top of adding different textures to it, you can also move it around a little bit. So if I want to move this plane around, instead of slicing it, you want to grab this object by looking at it. See how it highlights in green when I aim at a corner? So go ahead and aim it at one of the corners and hold the M key for move. That's what I like to call it. And move the mouse around. This just moved the object in. Gave it a slope. That's really easy to do. On top of Geometry Mode already being a handy texturing tool, and it also helps you move the level around. So if I grab the green one here, and I can pull it out. Now be careful. The one mistake people can make is making a twisted surface, which will be bad. So if I grab it from the top view and pull this out, I just created a very bad texture, or a very bad brush, and will be an error brush because you've gone out from the circle, or gone out, shot it out. And you cannot do this. This texture will be very bad in your level, and it's not a good thing. Just don't do it. So I'm going to undo that. So make sure your surfaces are flat, and they're not rounded, or try to get them twisted at all, because that will just not be good. I can't emphasize how bad that is. Not a good thing. So I'm going to back away from this texture right now so you can take a better look at it. Okay, there's only one other thing I'm going to show you about selecting. I'm going to unmark this object. So I have to go back into brush editing mode because I'm done with geometry, because you can unmark them. And go ahead and unmark. And I'm going to pan around, and you can see the three objects or brushes that I've created. They're objects in the level. I think that's why I refer to them as that. But go ahead, and if you click one, then one's highlighted. If you click the other one, it unselects the other one and selects the new one that I've selected, and vice versa. I can keep rotating through that. But let's say I want to copy all of them and create it again. And I want to select them all. There's two ways you can go about doing this. You can go into the nodes and try clicking them, but it's the same thing. You just get the nodes that are the one at a time. So you want to click multiple nodes. So go ahead and click that. Now you can click multiple of them. So you click 1, 2, and 3, and it selects them all. This box is the invisible area in which everything is contained. But now I've selected all three of them, and I can do whatever I want with them. I can copy them and paste them, and that's a time saver, because if I want to create a lot of brushes and then create the same room again, go ahead and do this. And if you're doing that, making a room, and you want to make it easier to do this for selecting it, select all your brushes that you want, and in your main container, right-click that, and add a container node. In this container, you can rename it to wherever you want. And go ahead and outside the window to unselect it. Now, to move these brushes into this container, go ahead and right-click it again and tell Move Take Nodes here. So every one of those objects that are selected will move it to that folder. There. Now I can expand this folder and show that all three of those objects are in there. And I can unselect it. And if I only want to select all of these, I can put it back into single editing mode and just click that one folder, and it collects everything in it. Very easy, very cool. This is Mick with MelfNews.com.